Good morning, everybody. Thank you for watching this video. My name is Joe, one of the leaders here at Vineyard Covington, and I'm really excited to continue our weekly practices with you. Hopefully, you've been able to track with us a little bit over the past couple of weeks. We have been leaning into practicing prayer in this odd season. And the first week, we looked at the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father, and we personalized that daily together. Last week, Tyler encouraged us to enter into listening prayer and to just ask the question, Father, what are you doing? I hope that these have been challenging, fruitful ways to pray for you, and hope the same for this week, where we lean into a more outward focused type of prayer. So I'm just going to launch right in because Luke 15 is where we're going to land, and it's one of my favorite chapters in Scripture. And Jesus tells three parables in it. I'm sure you're familiar with one, if not all, three. But before we look at those, I'm just going to read the first two verses because it kind of sets the tone, gives us the context here. It says in Luke 15, verse 1, "Now the tax collectors and sinners were all gathering around to hear Jesus. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, 'This man welcomes sinners and eats with them.'" They were not very happy with that. They were actually appalled. Why would you want to hang out with them? You could be with us. They were just so surprised that that is how Jesus would decide to spend his time. And he launches into these three epic parables. I mean, they are epic. They are some of the best stories in the Bible, really. The first one is the lost sheep. The second one is the lost coin. And the third one is the lost son, better known as the prodigal son. So why is this how Jesus decides to respond to the criticism from the Pharisees? Well, there are tons of lessons in these three stories, a lot of which you may have heard before, but I just want to kind of tie them together for the purposes of this video and just say that Jesus is always most interested in the people that are furthest from him, the people that he was hanging out with at the beginning of Luke 15. It's the same way when the one sheep leaves the flock, the shepherd goes and leaves the 99 to find him. When the woman loses the lost coin, she has other coins, but this coin she searches diligently until it is found. And you know the story of the prodigal son, but the climax is when the father sees his son on the road and is filled with compassion, and he runs out to greet him and to love him because he says, "My son was dead and now he's alive. Kill the fatted calf." And I fully believe that Jesus tells these stories not just to defend himself, but to remind the people of his time and our time that he is always going to be most interested in the people furthest from him. And hey, that's not an easy pill to swallow for us. It's real easy to be more like the older brother in the prodigal son story and say, "I've been here the whole time, and you're making this fuss over this guy," like the father did. So here's what I want us to do this week. I want you to pick 2 or 3 people in your life, and I want you to pray for them by name. People that are furthest from Jesus, people that are far from him, that do not have a relationship with him. I want you to pray that they would enter into that relationship with Jesus and that you would be able to play a role in that. Because we get to partner with Jesus. We get to emulate him. That's the whole purpose of these practices, is try to be more like him in his example. And now we get to partner with him in the kingdom and pray for people that are far from him. So pick those 2 or 3 people, pray for them by name each day, and I think you'll be really surprised the favor that you'll have with them. You might find yourself running into them unexpectedly after you start this. you might hear from them out of the blue unexpectedly. But either way, this is just another way for us to enter into prayer after Jesus' example that he gives us in Luke 15 and many other places through Scripture, that he will always be most interested in the people far from him. So I think this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are, and can't wait to practice this with you together this week. So have an awesome week. God bless you.